You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
G'day, you're listening to the weekly Betoota news wrap. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming to you live from Koala Mattress Studios in downtown Betoota, and my name is Bruce Hitchcock. Joining me today to wrap up all the biggest stories from the week that was in news is me old mate Wendell Hussey.
Yeah, hello again for another week. It is great to be here. This episode of the Bulletin is brought to you by our southern friends down at UTS InSearch. If you're a recent school leaver this year and getting a high ATAR wasn't the be-all and end-all of your existence, then UTS InSearch can look after you.
That's right, and if getting a high ATAR isn't the be-all and end-all of your existence, as you just said, then you're probably a normal human, so sleep easy on that one. The InSearch team offer an alternative pathway into the second year of a UTS degree in Sydney. So, head to www.insearch.edu.au. Now, Del, just when you thought things were starting to settle down a little bit before Christmas, the news cycle's heated up.
Certainly has, Bruce. It's been a big week down in Canberra, despite the lack of a parliamentary sitting. With the National Party making headlines, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has asked the National Party routing machines to rein it in until the next election. This comes after Nationals member Andrew Broad announced that he wouldn't be contesting the next election due to the sugar baby scandal, following in the footsteps of his former leader Barnaby Joyce. While Broad is reportedly considering making a run at becoming the next James Bond in the long-running franchise, and Barnaby has been reasonably well behaved, the embattled Prime Minister has asked them to just cool their jets until after the next election. Morrison said he's as fair dinkum a bloke as there will ever be, and he understands what has gone on with Andrew Broad overseas, but that he really does need these thirsty elder statesmen to keep it in their pants until midway through next year.
That could be hard work for those two heartthrobs. Let's see how they go. In other national news this week, it's been confirmed by the country's girlfriends that they can't wait for another 2 months of white noise on TV. The summer of cricket is already in full swing and has only been bolstered by the Big Bash kicking off overnight. With TVs around the country flicking between a couple of channels for the next 2 months, we spoke to some girlfriends about how excited they were. One woman from Betoota said she's so excited to watch a game she has absolutely no interest in. "I absolutely love the one that takes 5 days," she said to us. "Oh, and it's so cool that there's one during the day and then there is another one on at night. And the night ones are on every single night."
Sounds like she's in for a stack of fun.
And Del, still around the country, we spoke to a young man who's still living in the past.
Yeah, we did, Bruce. We sat down with a fourth-year university student at UTS who's been using the recent publication of this year's ATAR results to bring up what he got in the exams almost 4 Prime Ministers ago. The young man from Sydney's leafy North Shore said he doesn't like to brag about his results, but he did land himself in the very highest percentile. He said he likes to drop it whenever he can, just to let people know what kind of an operator they're dealing with. We spoke to one of his classmates at university who bombed her ATAR but got accepted through the UTS InSearch program, and she said that he has been painfully obnoxious for the last few days.
Very sad indeed. Back home in Betoota now, and we were on the scene when a soon-to-be very unwell man decided to take another hash brownie 5 minutes after the first one because he didn't think it was working very well. The local man, who probably smokes pot about once every 2 years, decided that he must have a high tolerance to the THC in his mate's new batch of brownies, and that one brownie just wasn't enough. Having never experimented with the cannabis-infused edibles before, Scott Maley, 31, decided to double down in short succession after the first one did absolutely nothing. He tucked in after ignoring the advice of others, and at the time of press, Scotty was seen brushing his teeth with a dead pigeon he found in a skip bin in the car park of his local Dan Murphy's.
And in other parts of town, a local tradie has taken to social media this week to let his friends and followers know that he's got it pretty good right now. 23-year-old Caden James did so by posting a photo of the picturesque location he's working at this week and titling it Today's Office. James told us that the post on his socials was just a cheeky uplifting shot to show off how nice the place he's working at is and to let all his pen-pushing friends and officers know how shit staring at the same cubicle wall every week is. James then said he couldn't ever work in an office before looking out at the location and telling us that it doesn't get much better than this.
And on the sporting front this week, Florida rapper T-Pain has been left thoroughly confused by the amount of heat he's copping from Indian Twitter accounts. Told our reporters this morning that he was quite confused as to why a lot of Indians on social media were abusing him. "What's a flat track bully and what country does King Coley rule?" asked the rapper in what seems to be a case of mistaken identity. T-Pain said he was unsure what the game of cricket was or who Tim Paine and Virat Kohli were, but it asked for a bit of a break from social media channels.
I don't think he's got much of a chance of that happening.
Yeah, not likely. Anyway, that's the news wrap for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast in order to get your weekly fix of real, unfiltered and unwavering regional news. Until next week, I'm Bruce Hitchcock.
And I'm Wendell Hussey.